The annual World Economic Forum meeting opened in Davos with around 3,000 attending. Joining us to discuss is Daniel Lacalle, Chief Economist at Tressis Hedge Fund, international financial analyst, and author of the book Freedom or Equality. Daniel, good afternoon. Always good to see you. So give us your thoughts here. Good to see you. Your thoughts here on this year's meeting. Why do you think we're seeing such record turnout for it?
Well, I think that the Davos meeting this year is very, very important. There's a huge change in the world in terms of the view about what the governments should do relative to the economy. We have seen with the election of President Trump, but also in El Salvador, in Italy, in Argentina, how the old messages of interventionism, of inflationism, of constant government meddling, increasing the size of government in the economy, etc., have started to shift. And certainly there is a new debate. The World Economic Forum, unfortunately, in the past 10 years, has sided aggressively toward all of those policies that have increased interventionism, hyper-regulation, high taxes, and also central bank interventionism. So I think that it's very important that the Trump administration goes to the Davos meeting to advance with the ideas of freedom and with the ideas that bring back the prosperity of the economies coming from the private sector, not from the intervention of government. So I think it's going to be a very, very significant event that is going to create a lot of headlines.
Yeah, just adding to your point there, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said President Trump will speak about America first, as you alluded to, deregulation and economic growth. And Trump is reportedly leading one of the largest U.S. delegations to Davos ever. So just talk to us a little bit about Trump's role here. What do you think it is that's going to play at this year's Davos?
Role number one is to remind the world that the United States is going to be the only major economy of the G7 that is growing in 2025. A lot of the estimates of the experts of the World Economic Forum, Davos, etc., we're talking about recession. We're talking about high inflation in 2025. We're talking about a disaster for the U.S. economy. And what we have seen is the opposite. So the first role of President Trump is to remember and to remind everyone that when you put America first, when you put American citizens first, when you put businesses and the recovery of the private sector as the forefront of policy, that is positive not just for America, but for everybody else. He is also going to be discussing the very successful number of trade agreements that have been signed in 2025. At the same time, and I think that this is the crucial factor, this very substantial delegation is going to be addressing with global leaders, with banks, with companies, with different governments, the policies that need to be implemented in the future. And basically, I think that the Secretary of State of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, is going to be a very significant figure, because he is going to be reminding people that you cannot create or engineer economic growth and development through high government spending and high taxes, that you need to go back to economic sanity and to supply side measures. I think that his role is going to be very significant.
Okay, so in addition to some of your concerns you talked about up to this point, the WEF has been widely criticized as well by free market thinkers and conservatives as being an advocate for woke ESG, right, and DEI policies. In addition to that, renewable energy investments, another thing that is part of all that, critical race theory as well. So do you think President Trump, against all of this, can he change the forum's future, its trajectory?
I think that he can, and that I think that he has started to do it. Remember the milestone keynote speeches of President Trump and President Milei in the Davos Forum, greeted with an incredible support from the audience. And I think that this is key, is that all those agendas, the DEI, the woke agenda, the interventionist measures, the degrowth agendas, the tax everywhere agendas, the things that we have heard in the World Economic Forum at Davos, people like me are outrageous in the past 10 years, to the extent that a lot of very important people and a lot of very influential analysts and investment bankers and businesses have stopped going to the World Economic Forum because it moved from being a healthy forum of debate to being a rhetoric and narrative-driven ideological ground. It was so crazy that when President Trump was elected, there was a discussion, there was a forum, one of those panels of discussion in which they said, and I quote, "President Trump has won, we have lost." Who on earth told them that we is them? Is that's the problem, is that so many businesses, so many banks, so many analysts were slowly surrendering to these agendas that have generated inflation, low growth, low productivity growth, low real wage growth, more taxes, generalized discontent all over the world. And I think that it's time to bring back sanity. It's time to bring back supply side measures. It's time to remind people that entrepreneurs are not the evil people, that businessmen are not, and businesswomen are not evil, that what they bring is, as President Milei said in Davos, what they bring is prosperity, and that we need to go back to defending free markets, capitalism, low taxes, and prudent fiscal policies instead of interventionism.
Okay, well said. I want to talk specifics now about some of the things happening at the World Economic Forum. So this year will be the debut of NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang. The future of AI will be a major point of conversation at the forum. Because it affects businesses, it affects work. Some concerned about it displacing jobs. What do you see the economic impacts of AI?
Well, I think that the fear-mongering narrative of AI is going to destroy jobs is a very easy tool of intervention, is to try to present politicians as the solutions to the challenges of productivity and job creation. AI does not destroy jobs. AI displaces some of the skills of citizens. All of that is improved by education, by more cooperation, by higher investment and more competition. AI is not going to be a negative effect for the economy. It's going to drive higher productivity growth. We have seen in countries that have a very significant implementation of AI in South Korea, for example, where unemployment is not only exceedingly low, but also exceedingly low in the so-called low-skilled jobs. So we should not fear artificial intelligence. As I always say, what we should fear is human stupidity.
Okay. Well, I just don't want, Skynet to become a real thing. That's a reference to a sci-fi movie.
I think that that is a great comment, because I think that Terminator, great movie, has, and like so many of James Cameron movies, they're incredibly good movies and entertaining, but they're certainly dreadful in terms of economics. If there was a scarce mineral below a tree where a lot of blue people lived, I guarantee you that that mineral would not be used in the industry at all. And the same thing with Skynet. There is no way in which artificial intelligence is going to end with humanity. It's the opposite. It needs us, and it cooperates with us. And all of us that, like you and I, that use artificial intelligence on a day-to-day basis know that it's not a substitute for human action.
Well, all right, Daniel, good to talk to you. As always, of course, thank you so much today.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure.